Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how do you find the slope of a graph, so similar to the problems you see up on the screen here. Today we're going to be looking at using the slope formula. There's another way to do this using rise over run, so if you want to learn it that way, I will link that in the description below. Just a reminder, this is the short version of this lesson, so we're going to go through it pretty quickly, just cover the main points. If you want the full length lesson, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already know how to add and subtract positive and negative numbers, or else have a calculator that can do that for you, and you should know how to graph points. If you need refreshers on those, I will link those in the description. So, when you say the word slope, something that a lot of people will think of is the ski slope or snowboarding. And just like on a ski slope, there's black diamond, blue, whatever, okay? And it tells you something about the slope and how difficult it is. Well, the numbers of a graph, when you talk about the slope of a graph or a line, it tells you something about the steepness or the tilt of the graph, okay? So this is the slope formula, this ugly looking thing. We'll explain what all this does in a second. Quick reminder, M just stands for slope. The most common mistake that I see with this slope formula is students forget how to whether the x's go on the top or the y's go on the top. And so a way to remember, many years ago, somebody told me, just think of the wooden picnic table. All right, it has the giant x at the bottom, so the x's go on the bottom. This is a visual way to remember the slope formula. Okay, so here are our numbers, 0, -2, 4, 1. Remember that it goes x then y. Okay, so the x goes first then the y. That's always true on a graph. And now, this 0, I'm going to say this is the first x I see, this is the first y that I see, and this is the second x that I see, and this is the second y that I see. You could reverse this, okay? You could switch the x1, y1, x2, y2, and still get the same answer. I just go in the order that I see on the graph. And now we're going to plug those numbers in to this formula, right? So we're going to start with y2, which is 1. So we're going to have 1 minus y1, which is -2. Notice that I have to put the minus sign and the negative sign. And then for x2, I do 4 minus 0. And now we have 1 minus -2. I don't know how you learned it, but I teach students that just becomes 1 plus 2, so that's 3 over 4. And this is our final answer for the slope. Oh, we skip. All right. Oh, all right. So these are a little different, right? This is a horizontal line. Think of the horizon, horizontal. And this is a vertical line, straight up and down. And so when we do the slope formula here, we're going to do, on the top, we're going to do 2 minus 2 over -1 minus -4. And that will give me 0 over 3. 0 divided by anything is just 0. And so for any horizontal line, the slope is always 0. You see a horizontal line, doesn't matter where it is on the graph, the slope is just 0. For a vertical line, to do the slope formula, you would do -3 minus, -1 over -5 minus -5. This gives me -2 over 0. And anything divided by 0, you can type this in a calculator. The answer is undefined. Undefined. Okay? And so anytime you have a vertical graph, the answer is always undefined. And for this last graph, you'll notice they don't give you the numbers. So you need to look at this graph and say, okay, where does the green line hit the grid lines? So for example, here, right on the corner, that's a good spot. Or here, right on the corner, that's a good spot. Or here, right on the corner. Or here, and those are all the points that you could pick here. And then you can pick any two that you want. So for example, this is 3, 0. I'll use that one, and we use this one up here. This is 9, 18. Cool. And then we have our numbers. So now we just do our normal slope formula. This would be 18 minus 0 on the top, 9 minus 3 on the bottom. This would be 18 over 6. 18 divided by 6 is just 3, and this is our final answer. So if they don't give you the numbers, you need to pick good numbers. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 3 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, you might have chosen different coordinates than I did, different numbers, but no matter what numbers you picked, you should have ended up with a slope of -1/2. Notice that I had to reduce, right? The -4/8 can be reduced into -1/2. For the second problem, you should have gotten a slope of -1. And for the third problem, we should be able to look at that. Oh, that's a vertical line, which means that the slope is undefined. Undefined. If it was horizontal, it's 0. If it's vertical, it's undefined. All right, that's it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.